To be recording this call. So if you have any problems with it, please let me know. We just wanted to record it so that we can also just share it with other people that might have missed the call. And so Priscilla, before she begins and starts to lead the conversation about updates on the women's major group, particularly for women in Africa, I'm just gonna go quickly over some updates of the women's major group in general. And so I'm using this PowerPoint presentation. Can everyone see it? I just shared it with you. I'm using this PowerPoint presentation that we used in October when we had a general introduction to women's major group webinar. But because you all are all members, and I'm sure you're pretty much know kind of the standards of the women's major group, I'm just going to skip to the more important parts. And so let me know if you have any questions in between. Um, so in case you forgot, the women's major group, this is it. It was created at 1992 Earth Summit in Rio, Brazil, where governments recognize women as one of the 9 important groups in society for achieving sustainable development. And so now we're the official participant in the United Nations process in sustainable development and the various follow-up processes. Let's get put there. I think this slide is really important to look at how we've grown. So we've grown and evolved since the run up to Rio in 2010, when there were 2 organizing partners, generally meeting for thematic meetings of the Commission on Sustainable Development. But with the more holistic agenda of Rio Plus 20, an increasing diversity of women's groups joined the women's major group to influence the outcome, and the growing women's major group made a stronger movement that brought in issues across the 3 dimensions of sustainable development, be that economic, environmental, social, such as trade, peace, climate change, sexual, reproductive health rights, chemicals, etc. These are our key accomplishments. So as you all know, because you all were mainly participating in them, we had a strong influence at Rio Plus 20. The women's major group is considered one of the most organized major groups for many years now. Since this presentation was in October, um, we attended 30 important global, regional, high-level policy meetings. But since then, I think there's 3 more that we added, which was COP22, the IAEG, which is for the indicators, and as well as Habitat 3. And so another accomplishment is we've worked together based on key positions established over the years that are the basis of our work. We have strong papers and recommendations throughout the Open Working Group and the SDG process. Thanks to you all for contributing to those. And then we supported 190 plus trips to these meetings. 80% are from the global south. And so we always want to highlight that we push and prop up these voices coming from the global south. If you haven't seen our new website, please check it out. We have this really cool members map to show how our members are distributed all throughout the world. If you don't see your dot in your corner of the world, please let us know so we can add you into the map. Again, as a refresher, there's 8 organizing partners, and Priscilla can talk about later how we're going to be releasing the new call for the organizing partners, and so we're encouraging people to apply if they want to take up the new leadership of the women's major group. There's a secretariat. That's me and Andrea. We're both helping run all of the emails and the listservs. And as you all know, there's different listservs. There's the general one, which is moderated. There's regional ones, which I'm sure you all are part of the African Women Major Group one that John, Baki, and Priscilla help run. There's the advocacy listserv, which is mostly for discussions. And then there's different working group listservs. If you want to join any of these listservs, just let me know. There's a cool picture of us and the women from WEP. Again, if you want to join the African Women's Major Group, just email John Baki. And then these are just basically breakdowns of the different listservs. Okay, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to pass the microphone now to Priscilla.
Thank you, Lynn. Hi, women. Welcome on board. It's nice seeing some of you again online. I'm hoping that we are going to have a fruitful discussion today. As you can see from our presentation, from the agenda, what we are basically looking at, where are we today, what we have done in the past, and what are we going to do in the next coming years. But first and foremost, let me add to what Lynn had just presented. Uh, in November this year, the Women's Major Group, together with the Women and Gender Consistency and our organization, were able to bring almost about 32 women from African countries to participate at a project we call Women 2030. And of course, it was a pre-COP meeting where we have training on how African women can get involved with the SDGs. And this project is for Africa, is targeting about 15 African countries. It's a global project being implemented in about 52 countries, but in Africa, it's about 15 countries that we are going to implement it. So we were able to bring about 32 women from African countries and other countries to participate in this training. And also during the COP, we were able to organize African Day, where we had speakers, and it was also interesting to know that our latest UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, who was until then the Minister for Environment for Nigeria, participated in. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can hear you. I
perfectly.
can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, if you're not
And
speaking,
so,
can you please go on mute so that it doesn't cause more noise traffic? Thank you.
yes. So, and apart from that, the Women's Major Group also organized a session with the women major group that were at the meeting, at the COP, to discuss a lot of things. How can women major group be involved in moving the continent forward and maybe moving the agenda of the women major group forward? And of course, the OPs also had a meeting. And at that meeting, we agreed that there was the need for us to also have, Lynn just mentioned it briefly, for us to have the next election for the organizing partners. So very soon, I'm sure before the month ends, there will be that release of the core for the organizing partners. So that is where we are today. Um, Lynn has not been able to present how many women major group has benefited, especially those from Africa, in some of these global events and conferences. But with the introduction of the regional OPs, I think that our participation as African women has improved greatly. We have a lot of women, just as you said, from the global south, and most of them from African continent participating in meetings at the global, regional, and sub-regional, which has been funded by the Women's Major Group. And in moving forward, we just wanted to share with you some of these things that the Women's Major Group has done, with particular reference to the African continent, but also to discuss on the way forward. What do you think? Where do you think? How did we fare? We are ready to accept some suggestions on the way forward, and that is why we decided that it was very important for us to have this call today. Thank you. If there are any questions, suggestions, comments, please feel free to make.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. This is Irene from Akinamama, Africa. Thank you, Priscilla. I just wanted to get more clarity on the project that you're talking about, and when you're mentioning that there's a project or an initiative that you've embarked on, that the Women's Major Group has embarked on, that has trained some women. I did not quite understand. I did not get you clearly on that. If you could expound more, that would be helpful.
Okay. The project is called Women 2030 Project. This is a project that some of the OPs, the organizing partners, came together to bid from the EU. We have 5 organizing partners: Women in Europe for a Common Future, Women Environmental Program from Nigeria. You have Asia Pacific, Women Law and Development, and then you have Global Forest Coalition, and then you have Global Water Alliance. The 5 of us came together to bid for that project. And in bidding for that project, through the EU, it was an open call for proposal. So we bidded for it, and we were able to get it. So we have partners that are focused on specific aspects of the project. And for Africa, we have about 15 countries that are participating, including Uganda. But of course, since we have our partners that are already existing in these countries, the trend of the trainers initial training took place in Marrakesh. So from Uganda, we have 2 people that were represented at this training. And these 2 people are partners with Women in Europe for a Common Future, Global Forest Coalition, and Global Water Alliance. So there were actually 3 people that were supposed to participate from Uganda on this project. But unfortunately, one could not get visa to be there. But that was just the starting point. This project is expected to be implemented in this country, and we are going to, it's for 5 years, and we are expected to conduct shadow reporting on the SDGs. We're also expected to do gender assessment on the SDGs. So what we did was just a preliminary one. That was training of trainers. By next year, the people that were trained at this level are supposed to go back to their countries and begin to also train other NGOs and work with other women coalitions in the country to make sure that this project have a holistic approach to it.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Hello, is that clear, Irene?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other question? And Lynn had just posted since the open working group in January 2014, the Women Major Group has supported 44 women from Africa countries to attend various high-level meetings. That is at the UN level, also at the regional level from Addis Ababa to African Union to the ECA and sub-regional meetings. We have also supported women who participated in these meetings. Hello, are we there? Hello?
Yes, yes, we can still hear you, Priscilla.
I'm waiting for more comments, questions. And just to add that as a way of getting, especially women from the grassroots who are not on the Women's Major Group globally, we created a listserv, an email group where most of the women that do not have access to that participate, where we post information to them, call for proposals, and every other information that we feel that are relevant. We try as much as possible to post it to that group that we created.
Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Hello. Yes, this is Louisa Ono Ekomo from Echoes of Women in Africa, Nigeria.
Yes.
Thank you for the updates on the activities so far in this 2016. And you talk about an election coming up very soon in 2017 for the organizing partners. Hello?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. Exactly what period is this election going to take place?
What did you say?
You talk about an upcoming election for the OPS in 2017.
Yes.
Yes. At what periods are you looking at for this election? Is it going to be before the CSW or after the CSW?
It's going to be before the CSW.
Okay, okay. It's good to know that.
Yeah, we're gonna I'm gonna send out an email today for people to attend a call next Wednesday about for people to learn about the election process and to learn about the roles of the organizing partner, so that if you or any organization you know are thinking about possibly running, you can ask questions. And then I'll also send out the process as well as the terms of reference of what it is to be an organizing partner, so you can look over it.
Okay.
But like Priscilla said, we want
I
to
want to,
begin the process. We're going to disseminate the information. And then I think in January, people are going to apply. And then it's going to be an open voting process. So if you are on the advocacy listserv, that means you can vote. And it's only one vote per organization. And then we're hoping to announce the new organizing partners in February, but definitely before the CSW.
okay. I want to commend the Women Major Group for the great work in 2016. And of course, I want to use this opportunity to congratulate Amina Mohammed for her recent appointment. For us in Nigeria, this is much to be celebrated, considering the challenges we have been going through on women empowerment. So Priscilla, I want to thank you for the hard work you've been doing in ensuring that the SDG is actually implemented in Nigeria. So far, so good. We are still looking at the tempo at which the government is moving. But I think by 2017 there will be accelerated speed on this, in line with the agenda of the Women Major Group. That even from the African level and the sub-regional level, we could begin to say that our country, like Nigeria, will be part of the reporting nations who have agreed on the reporting and be part of the high-level political forum. So thank you so much, Priscilla, and thank you, Lynn, for all the updates.
Thank you, Luisa. And just as a follow-up to what Luisa has said, the African Union and indeed the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa is going to have the review meeting of the SDGs sometimes in March, I think March 17 to 21. So this is just to keep you people informed about this, because what we have seen happen in the past is that we don't have very many women participating at this meeting. But what we are hoping to do is that this time around, we have to prepare in advance to ensure that we have very many women from African continent participating in this meeting.
Hello?
Hi.
It's Irene again. I think probably I have to apologize on my part because this year I've not really engaged with the women's major group as much. But I just also wanted to kind of flag out an issue because I think, I'm not sure, because when I saw the email indicating the African Women's Major Group, I was very excited because for me it was like the first time I was seeing an email coming forward like the African Women's Major Group. And while we've had OPs organizing partners from the African region, I think somehow, I think either as an individual, I have not really been on that list serve for the OPs, for the Women's Major Group in Africa. Probably that's how I have missed out. So I'd kindly request that I'm added on that list for the African Women's Major Group because I'm on the other major groups, the other general major group. So those are the communications that I normally receive. So it seems somehow I just missed out on the African Women's Major Group. I actually just, when I saw the email, it just struck me. So I think there are probably also other people out there who are not on that list serve, and we need to bring in more people on board so that they can be part of the platform.
And thank you. I remember very well that you were one of the first people that this invitation was sent to you. However, we will send it to you again immediately after this meeting so that you can sign up to. At the present, we have over 80 members that are on this list now. The African Women's Major Group email.
Priscilla, thank you so much. I look forward to receiving the invite and joining the listserv because I know it is a very good platform to engage with.
Sure, it will be added. So in moving forward, what do we really think that should be the focus of the Women's Major Group in the coming year? Even if the new OPs are coming, we should be able to have an agenda for the new OPs, perhaps that will represent Africa. What kind of issues do we really think that the new OPs should be looking up? I know Lisa has talked about the issues of the SDGs, amplifying and accelerating the implementation of the SDGs in Africa as women major group and working together, building a very strong movement on this area, which I have recorded. But what other issues as African women do you think that are key to us and that we have to, as much as possible, be looking at to?
Hello.
Hello. Is Semia still there?
Yeah, Priscilla. Hi.
Okay.
I think for me the education is one of the a big issue in the African regions that we can work on goal for regarding the SDGs. And also climate change. So this is a second issue. And education could be the platform that we can use to involve the different issues concerning the African region.
Thank you, Samia.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, yeah.
I think we should be looking at women and girls in conflict, which is a very serious issue on the front border of many African nations, using the sub-Saharan region where we are right now in the ECOWAS region. We know the issue of insurgency and how it has affected women that are displaced, women that have fled across borders as refugees. So we should focus on this, and of course the issue of migration We know how many Africans have been dying through the Libyan marine front on the way to Europe. So women in conflict and girls in conflict and issue of migration should be one of our top priorities for the coming year, especially for the ops who are coming in to understand that these are issues that have impacted negatively on women's development and, of course, women's empowerment. This is looking at Goal 5 and, of course, Goal 16 of the SDGs, and, of course, Goal 1.
Thank you. Hi, Ari, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I think in terms of the areas of focus, I would also want to put forward the element of health, women's health, specifically looking at sexual and reproductive health rights. Why we need to strengthen our work around that is because reports on HIV continue to show that while there have been actions taken to address HIV, we are seeing more increased infections, even in countries where infections had gone down. We are seeing new infections coming up. And I think it's because there's been some sort of laxity from not only government, but even people in generally and different stakeholders to keep the agenda high and continue working on eliminating HIV from in the continent. So I think the issue of sexual and reproductive health and rights has to continue keeping on the agenda because of the whole fact also that while some of our leaders have shown commitment to addressing SRHR, others have really shown a lack of commitment to it. Especially when you look at issues of comprehensive sexual health education. Of course, we've been lobbying and we've been pushing for all these issues. Even when you look at the implementation of the Maputo Protocol, we've been pushing for all these issues, but there isn't much that has been done. So I think we have to continue. We've been pushing, but we have to continue work around that so that we can build on what we've gained. And also just in terms of our own organizing as the Women's Major Group members, I think we have to organize ourselves. While we have what we call the African Regional Major Group, Africa Women's Major Group. I think we might need to kind of cluster ourselves into the regions and sort of have some sort of representation when it comes to the elections or when it comes to how we do our work, because then we are able to have that representation and bring on board some of the unique issues, things that we need to engage with. And in that regard, proposing that we continue organizing the women's groups from the different regions to engage in the regional meetings, and this would mean like notifying members, for instance, when the AU summit is coming up, and how we organize ourselves around the AU summit, how we influence the AU summit, so or the AU pre-summit, all those spaces, especially that are happening on the region, on the continent, even if are happening outside of the continent, but being able to organize ourselves more. I think that is something we need to continue working with.
Thank you very much, Irene. I think what you have said is very pertinent, especially on the issue of the sexual rights and reproductive health. Also, the issue of clustering ourselves into subsector to organize more from the sub-regions and also at the regional level. I think a lot needs to be done at this point, and I strongly believe that this is an issue that both of us need to come together on how we can look at it. We have tried in the past to see how we can cluster this, but you know that the Women's Major Group, as most of you know, is a loose network, and that the organizing partners are not paid. We are primary volunteers. So the issues of funds to be able to mobilize, like I threw it up during one of our calls, that can we have like sub-regional leaders to help coordinate, because African continent is a large continent. And of course, having just one OP, and because of also the language barrier, and because of the ways that most of us are engaged in different thematic areas, it would be nice to have like sub-regional partners, as I mean, depends on what we want to call it, that will be able to, like, for instance, West Africa, we have Eastern Africa, we have Southern Africa, we have people that, of course, whatever that happens at the African region, are able to like disseminate the information to the rest of the women, but also coordinate any issues that had to do with the women. But that did not really take off very well. So again, here that this thing is coming up, and for me, this is very critical as as a member of the OP. So we cannot do it all by ourselves. We need the partnership and the collaboration of every one of you. Africa is our continent. We don't have any other place. And of course, the work is enormous. Looking at what is happening, the poverty level, the way that women are being abused, Lisa has said something about the issues of conflict, also the issues of so many things, climate change that is affecting our women every day. So I think that it is important for us to begin to think of how we can really organize ourselves at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Priscilla?
Yes.
Yes. I think if we go and have a quick diagnostic about the problematic in the region, so there is a general issues like climate change, like education, so like health, like food production, like hazard chemicals. This is a general issue that is all countries are facing it, and women especially are facing the impacts of these issues. And we can go those, that means we can divide into, we can focus on two problematics. The general, that is all countries that share the same issue, and specific problematic or issues which is by region or sub-regional, like sexual abuse, also less education, or infections or something. So we can, I think, from my point of view, so we can think on these two pillar. That means general issues shared by all the countries, and all women are facing it, and the specific, which is sub-regional or specific to some region. Thank you.
Thank you, Samia. Very good suggestion. Yeah, Lucia. Hi, Lucia. I can see you online. Lucia, we can't hear you. Hi, Lucia, we can't hear you. Can you send us a mail? Can you send us a chat? As we can't hear you. Yes, perhaps, Mr. Maybe you can type because we can't hear you. Does any other person have any contribution? Hi, are we there?
Yes, we can hear you still.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
This is Irene again. I was just thinking of an idea about us using the CSW platform to kind of amplify our actions and voice of the Africa Women's Network. I normally send out an email asking individuals who are ready to organize an event or who are planning to organize events to work with the Women's Major Group. And I was thinking probably if the Africa Women's Major Group could organize a parallel event in partnership with the Women's Major Group during the CSW, because during that time there are so many African women who come for the CSW. It could also be a good platform for us to mobilize more people to understand what the Women's Major Group is all about and why we need to keep a vibrant Women's Major Group on the African continent. So for me, that was an idea that I was thinking we might work with in terms of pulling more people on board and probably even finding ways of how we structure ourselves and work around building the women's major group on the continent.
The time has passed for the side events, but I do know that Women Makeup Group as a group has applied for a side event. So we will see how we can bring that on board. But if you have a side event, if you have anything that you want us to put forward, you can send it to us, and then we'll forward it to the organizing partners to see how that can be incorporated in the general women's major group. But Lynn, do you have something to say about this?
Sorry, what was the question? I kind of spaced out.
She is saying that there's a need to have an African Women Major Group side event during the CSW to at least reorientate them on what the Women's Major Group is all about and how we can better be organized. Also to amplify the voices of the African women at this international event. Since CSW is a major event where you have majority of the African women participating, unlike the other events.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'm sure you all have seen my email about the CSW events. The Women's Major Group is organizing, or we have applied for a side event and we're waiting for approval. And so look out for that. But also, we're hosting a strategy meeting, and so that's an open invitation for everyone, as well as we're trying to have social events. So, maybe get togethers. But if there's a need and an idea to have another kind of get together, or maybe just even like an informal meeting about with African women about that are in the women's major group or also want to join the women's major group, we can definitely me and Priscilla can definitely organize something for that.
Irene, just to add up to what Linda said, during the CSW, what we usually do, we usually have a strategy meeting, and there's usually a call for all the women to sign up. And during that strategy meeting, we have been asked to organize according to the region, the Asia Pacific, the African women, the Europe, and all that, to discuss issues that pertain to our regions. And at the end of the day, it is deemed into the strategy document of the overall women major group plan. Last year we had the same thing, and this year, just as Lynn said, we have applied for a side event, but also we are going to have a strategy meeting. And this strategy meeting is really where we expect that we have a lot of African women to participate. Unfortunately, last year, what we had, or this year, we had just like about 5 women from Africa that participated. Despite that we sent out a lot of notices to them, those that were at the CSW, to at least sign up and participate at the meeting.
Hello.
Hello. I think I just want to respond on the strategy meeting. While we normally have the women's media group strategy meeting, I think one of the reasons why we don't have many African women in that space is because it's usually like the first few days of the CSW, and most African women, I think, have not arrived by then. But probably some of the spaces that Lynn was talking about, like the informal meetings that they're planning and social events, probably those are some of the platforms we could use to mobilize the African women when they are there in larger numbers to engage.
Yes, I agree with you.
Right. Yeah, that would be a really great event of recruitment and also just to meet other people. What date or what week were you suggesting, Irene?
I think most of the African women are usually there towards the end of the first week, or like the first few days of the second week. But usually it's towards the end of the first week. That's when most of them get in. So it could be the weekend of the first week.
Great. Okay, well we'll remember that when we organize something. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Priscilla.
Yes.
Hello. Hello, Priscilla.
Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
I'm
you.
here.
Okay.
Sorry, we can't hear you. It's breaking.
Sorry, Louisa, you're breaking up. Can you
On the way
repeat
forward,
can you repeat
on
what
the
you
way
just said?
forward, I want this Africa to make it. I'm talking about engaging more with the African Union at the regional level. Hello, did you get that?
Yes, I got it. Engage more
Hello.
with the African Union.
Yes, I think that will help us a lot in uh, on visibility at the regional level, because we are very visible at the UN level, but regionally at the African regional level, how visible are we? Even at the sub-regional level, with the sub-regional groups, like we have ECOWAS, like we have SADC, we have other sub-regional groups. How visible is the women major group? I think this is one area we should work on in 2017. Then the issue of funding. How do we begin to raise funds from the continent, especially with these regional commissions that we have? You know, that's another area we should begin to look into. If we can begin to raise funds as African women major group, we can do more at the regional level than waiting for the central to do all the fundraising, and we begin to wait, and before we know it, a lot of time would have gone by. It's just a suggestion and a way forward for 2017.
Okay. In terms of engaging with the African Union, at the moment, what we try to do, and in briefing, I did not I forgot to mention that this year we had a major event with the African Union, especially on the conference of the head of states on climate change. They have approved that. and of course with the youth. So since 4 years ago, we've been trying to engage with the African Union in this regard. And it was only this year, in June, that we succeeded in getting them to at least listen to us. And during that time, they had organized a capacity building, but this was specifically on climate change in Nairobi, where we had about 22 women from the African countries participating in this training. And already we have a document that was developed on how to engage with the African women on the issues of gender and climate change. We are hoping that we will continue with this partnership. Though the African Union is very complex, but we do know that they have a gender department. Also, they have a CSO's department. So we're trying as much as possible to see how we can engage them to make sure that they recognize the African Women's Major Group. But suffice to say that during one of the meetings in Addis Ababa, we met with the African Union, the ECA, and some other members, some other sub-regional African Development Bank. And we told them that there was a need for us to have a structure such as the Asia Pacific had of engagement. Of course, they gave us that mandate to go ahead, and the 7-man committee was set, which I happen to be one of them. We have Stephen Chacha, who is from Tanzania, that was the chair of that committee. We drafted some document on how to engage with the groups, with the 9 major groups on the continent. We circulated it, and we were supposed to move forward with that. But of course, we had the leadership, some of us are just members, and we expected that this would be tabled during the conference that was held in Egypt this year, sometimes in May or June. Unfortunately, I was unable to go there. But the people that were there, I tried to find out if Stephen was able to present that at that meeting. But I was told no. So it's something that we are still battling with. Now they have other names. The issue of who coordinates what is the structure, has come up severally in this regard. And I'm sure that you people got also that document, because I was able to send it to everybody from the Women's Major Group to also review, and those that are on other platforms. Every platform that I know that exists in Africa, the networks, we send that into all of them to review. A few of them reviewed, but some of them came up with the suggestion that sometimes, there was a conference that was held in Liberia, and during that conference, the president of Liberia decided that there should be a network called African Civil Society Network. So everybody, the leaders, Masiwa, Stephen Chacha, wanted this one that was started by the African Union, including the ECA and the African Development Bank, to be subsumed into that African CSOs network. So that is where we are on that platform. Until we have that platform, just at the Asia Pacific, engagement with these people, engagement with our sub-regional bodies is going to be a little bit tricky. Because at the moment, what they are doing is just to engage the individual organizations, which we felt that is not the best way to engage the group. So we are still struggling with how we can make sure that we, as the major groups, the civil society in Africa, also come together to create that platform. We know that creating that platform, we are operating we have different aspects of our organizations that are working in. But the most important thing is that we can have clusters of civil society women's groups that are working in different areas, and we operate at that. So we are still struggling with that to see how it can work. And it might also interest you to know that even the UN DESA from New York is involved in this to see how they can support this network or this formation to be able to stand.
Well, that's brilliant. It's great to hear this commendable effort. Thank you.
Hello, are there any more questions?
I raised the issue of funding.
Hi, Lucy. Lucia.
Hi, everyone. This is Omoyeme Lucia from Center for Human Rights and Climate Change Research. I just want to mention that perhaps mine is not really a question, but to say that another way that we could strengthen participation of women, African women, is to have a platform where we can share what information about what those women are doing. It's as if every person is working in different areas and there is no way, there is no information sharing, there's duplication of projects. If we can perhaps be able to get a platform where we are able to share what we are doing, then we'll be able to get organizations doing the same thing, running same projects to come up in clusters, and you see that that strengthens participation because everybody feels they are part of the process. It's not just like everything being done at the regional and local level. It's totally divorced from what is happening at New York. I think that is one aspect we also have to think of how to build. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucia. Hi, Catherine. Hello, everyone. If we don't have any other issues to raise, we are taking note of the issues that have been raised. Good afternoon, Catherine. Are you there?
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining the call. Sorry for other people who were not able to join the call or who joined but had some problems hearing. We'll try to fix it and check with our services GoToMeeting to make sure that the call will be better next time for our women all over Africa. Again, look out for our emails about the election process, and then we hope to all see you at the Commission of Status of Women. Something that we didn't mention was that there's the World Data Forum that's happening in South Africa in January that I think Priscilla might attend, but also the Women's Major Group is supporting Semia to attend. And so if you are attending or know anyone that is, please let us know so that we can connect and try to figure out points of advocacy or meetings to attend that would be good for the Women's Major Group. But if not, please let us know if you know anyone attending, or just look out for a summary of what's going to happen then. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, Lynn.
Oh, yes?
Thank you. See you in March.
Sorry. I think someone wanted to speak still.
Lynn, it's Irene.
Yes.
Just, sorry, I'd forgotten to ask if there are any, because I also coordinate a local group of Ugandan women who are planning to engage in the CSW. And one of the questions they've been asking is whether there are any opportunities for funding, for travel grants, I don't know if you have any ideas. It might be nice to kind of send out an email to the listserv. Probably people could apply or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, right now the Women Major Group did not allocate any travel funds for the CSW, but I think the OPs are gonna open up the subject again and decide. And so if we do, we'll send out an email, and we encourage folks then to, of course, apply.
Thank you so much for organizing the call and for everything.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Have a
I
good
want to say
evening.
this call should be regular. It should not just be one-off. It should be regular for us to be engaging like this.
Great. Yes, we should regularize this as our speaker said. Thank you again, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Bye,
you
Priscilla.
very
Priscilla.
much. Thank you. Thank you,
Merry
Priscilla. Thank
Christmas in advance.
Merry
you. Merry
Christmas.
Thank
Christmas for all.
you.
Merry Christmas.
Bye bye.
Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry
Merry
Christmas to
Christmas
you.
to you.
Yeah.